My father is the one that planted all these maple trees around here because there wasn't but one tree on the farm in 1900, and that was a big oak that stood right down here. And one really hot day in the summer, he put his hand on the oak tree and stood under it and said, "Wow, this is 10 degrees cooler under here. This hill is hotter than Hades, and I'm gonna do something about it." So he started bringing young maple saplings from our designated woodlot, which is the middle of the Seven Sisters along, it's Pond Hill. It's a craggy cliff, but it's where we got all the wood to heat the house every winter. So there were a few young maple saplings coming. He'd flag them so nobody would cut them down for firewood. And he went down with his stone boat and oxen, and he'd finish the chores in the morning, pack a lunch, go down the 4 miles, all the way down the hill, up the hill, and he'd dig up a good-sized maple tree and roll it onto the stone boat, and the oxen would bring it home, and he'd dig a hole and plant it, and then he'd do the chores at night. It was a whole day's work between chores, each one of the maple trees. But by the time I was growing up, this was one of the cooler places because these maple trees created a breeze all the time, and they were wonderful because suddenly we had birds and we had, singing because we had these trees here. So my father was one of the ones that decided that we needed trees, and every time I look at these trees, I think of his legacy, because he's the one that showed me how to plant a garden and how to love the soil. And so I want to pass that on to my children. I think I have.